In their joint effort, putting people first, Bill Clinton and Al Gore wrote that the United States should, quote, create a national examination system to measure our students' and schools' progress in meeting the national standards, end quote. The most important education initiative of the Clinton administration, ladies and gentlemen, has been Goals 2000, which is based upon 8 national education goals. The first of which demands that by the year 2000, all children in America will start school ready to learn. But how can the federal government be sure that all children will start school ready to learn unless there's massive government intervention in preschool home life? And what about my children who are homeschooled? National Education Goal number 3 sets forth that all students will be involved in activities that demonstrate community service. While voluntary service is to be commended, forced child labor by the government makes students the new indentured servants. And so it's not voluntary at all. They cannot graduate unless they do it. And the work is dictated to them. As in all things, socialists stay true to form. They are habitual chronic liars. For an excellent description, folks, of the problems with Goals 2000, get Kathy Finnegan's book called Goals 2000, Restructuring Our Schools, Restructuring Society. And you can order it through Hearthstone Publishing Company. Now, please do this. Okay, I don't know how much it costs. I have nothing to do with this book. I'm not selling you a book. What I'm trying to do is educate you about what's happening in your public schools. Get this book. It's called Goals 2000, Restructuring Our Schools, Restructuring Society by Kathy Finnegan. It's published by Hearthstone Publishing Company, and you can call this number to get the book. It's 1-800-580-2604. That's 1-800-580-2604. I'm going to tell you again, I get nothing from this book. They don't even know I'm doing this. I just happen to know that this is the book you need to read. Now, concerning the first of the national education goals, that all children will start school ready to learn, the only way the federal government could be assured that this would occur would be to have increasing intervention in the lives of children at younger ages. But how could the feds justify early intervention in family life? Because that's what it's going to take. The chosen tactic, ladies and gentlemen, seem to be the new findings of brain research suggesting the need to avoid irreversible and detrimental changes in the brain's organization before the age of 3. An indication of how that research might be applied to push the Goals 2000 agenda was forthcoming at the National Education Goals Panel meeting held last year in 1997. The minutes from the NEGP meeting mention, and I quote, national content and performance standards, end quote. And Dr. Sharon Kagan talks about early childhood, quote, social and emotional development, end quote, needs, about how some child care workers were not credentialed, and about the need for, quote, an early care and education system, end quote. At that same meeting, actor Rob Reiner, a screaming, raving socialist, active in the Carnegie Corporation-backed early childhood public engagement campaign, stated, quote, there is a nexus between what happens at 0 to 3 and what happens in terms of crime, teen pregnancy, drug abuse, child abuse, end quote. And Dr. Bruce Perry added that if children didn't have certain positive experiences at that time, when the brain is organized, the results could be, quote, irreversible, end quote. So he advocated establishing an early childhood education system, and you can bet it will not be conducted by the parents. Note especially the word take, as Dr. Perry explains that, quote, in Florida, for example, they take crack babies right after birth and give them a whole variety of enrichment sensory experiences. But if you don't do that, you can also put them at further risk of being parented by someone who has really disinvested your doubly doomed, end quote. The government can protect its kids is the slogan. Now let me say this again for you. Listen very closely to this quote. The government can protect its kids, end quote. Not your children, not the children of the parents. Listen to this again, quote, the government can protect its kids, end quote. Words have meaning, and you had better pay attention to what the government says.